Saints and Sinners is were my stories. Before that, anyhow, I'd written novel after novel after novel, and I felt I had nothing in me. There was no seed or seedling. And I was with Ed Victor, my agent, and I said, I'm finished. I'm finished. And he said, no, you're not. You're going to write your memoir. And I said, I don't want to. It's too naked, or naked making. He said, why don't you think about it as something that you'll actually enjoy writing, big phrase, and that things you want to say about yourself that perhaps nobody else could or would do. They wouldn't be as honest. And coming home in a taxi, I had always carry sheets of paper, this is called Hope Eternal, and a pen, and I began to write it, and I wrote the prologue. So that was how it came about, and in the 3 years of the doing, I have sometimes wished I wasn't doing it. I thought, this is just a little book really about two girls and their coinciding, their opposing dreams. One wants to be a poet and one wants to marry a rich man. It did cause a lot of trouble, in fact, tremendous ructions. And two authors in Dublin who were very eminent at that time were extremely envious of it. Miles Nagopolin and Patrick Kavanagh, it seems, wrote some poem, because they thought to be banned is really a hot ticket to fame and to recognition. And the reason it caused such hubbub was, I think, this. There had been two women writers, Kate O'Brien and Elizabeth Bowen. Elizabeth Bowen was Anglo-Irish or Protestant, and she was therefore on a higher echelon. And Kate O'Brien moved to Spain, where she wrote. And her novels, they are good to read now, they are, but they didn't touch the nerve or offend the sensibility of the people. Not deliberately, because I thought at the time, and still think, that The Country Girls is a little elegy. It's a little love song to my native land. I really think that. I don't think it's running them down or belittling them or betraying them, but they all thought it was.
Yeah.
And because it's written in the first person and has the immediacy of a diary, while not being a diary, it sort of made people feel this is our lives. She has written, so many people, they think their character, all of them couldn't be the same character. You know what I mean? They hated it, but they also threw themselves into it by identifying with it. But there was also in the village, and people would draw back behind their window curtain. They'd look out if I went up the street, and as if I was a Jezebel. And I was very glad not to be living there, or not to be living in Dublin, because I might not have had the inner strength to start the next novel and the next and the next. Exile and separation was very, very good for me and very essential. How I came to know all the people who came to the parties, to this day, baffles me myself. It was like a chain letter, like I invite you, you invite him, he invites Sylvie. It was the 60s as well. People would say, I went to parties, I didn't know the people to whose house I was going. But my house became a fixture, partly because it was every Saturday night. And also it had a little bit of romance by being on the river. And Deodar Road was ingrained now in the party-going populace of London. And I loved it, and yet I knew that, not that I was wasting my time, but that I would have been better advised to have been a little more sensible.